They said I was too much, too sensitive, too fragile, too expensive. I remember standing just outside the living room door, listening. Their words floated like smoke, thin, choking, impossible to hold, but impossible to forget. A burden. That word settled into my skin like dust. They didn't say it to my face. They said it to each other. And yet, it broke me just the same. I didn't fight back. I just faded. But something happened the day we sat in that lawyer's office. Something no one, not even me, could have predicted. It didn't feel like revenge. It felt like revelation. My name is Elena James. I'm 29. I live in a small town in Oregon. And this is the story they never thought I'd tell. I was supposed to be the bright one, the gifted granddaughter, the one who loved books more than parties, who memorized science facts at dinner, who made everyone nod and say, she's going to do something big someday. I was on track to become a biomedical researcher. Full scholarship, early internships. Everyone saw me as the family's big hope, especially Grandpa. He used to call me the light in a dark generation. I wore that title like armor, until I couldn't anymore. In my third year of university, something snapped. Not all at once. Quietly. Slowly. I started forgetting things. Waking up tired no matter how much I slept. Sitting in lecture halls staring through the professor like glass. The word depression wasn't in our family's vocabulary, but it found me anyway. I dropped out, moved back home, said it was temporary. They smiled, but not with their eyes. She's just figuring things out. It's a phase. And then, silence. The kind that fills every room like fog. I became the shadow in every family photo, the names skipped in updates, the subject they detoured around at dinner. Even my mother, who once kissed my forehead every night, began saying less and less. Maybe she thought love was silence. Maybe she didn't know how to help. But what no one noticed was that while they turned away, I started turning inward. And somewhere deep inside that quiet, something else began to form. At first, I didn't try to bounce back. I didn't even think I could. I took a part-time job at the local library, mostly shelving books, resetting computer logins for seniors, wiping fingerprints off children's picture books. It was quiet work, invisible work. But after months of feeling like nothing, even invisibility felt like a relief. I liked the rhythm of it. The way the library smelled like dust and hope. The way no one looked at me like I was broken, they barely looked at me at all. Then one morning, Mrs. Donnelly came in. Widowed. In her 80s. Smelled like lilac and old paper. She gripped a wrinkled post-it note in her hand with her grandson's email scribbled on it. "This machine hates me," she muttered, glaring at the computer like it had insulted her personally. I sat with her, showed her how to log in. We sent an email together. A few days later, she came back with tears in her eyes. "He wrote back," she whispered, holding up her phone like it was a sacred thing. First time in 6 years. It hit me then what I did mattered. Not in a grand, headline-making way, but in that quiet, human way that sneaks up and stays. Soon, more seniors came asking for help. I started calling it Silver Sessions. One-on-one tutorials for anyone over 60. How to email. How to join Zoom calls. How to FaceTime grandkids. It wasn't flashy. It didn't erase the shame I carried. But it made my world a little wider, and there's two. It didn't make headlines. But it mattered. The Silver Sessions started as one afternoon a week. Then it was 2. Then 4. Before long, I had a waiting list. I created handouts in large fonts. Wrote out step-by-step guides with pictures and arrows. Built a simple website called silvercircles.org where I uploaded free tech tutorials for seniors. What started at one desk in the back corner of the library was now a full program offered in 3 local branches. I didn't have funding, but I had time. And heart. And, surprisingly, a community that grew by word of mouth. Church bulletins mentioned me. Local retirement homes invited me to speak. I even got a message from a librarian in a different state asking if I could train their volunteers. 1 month, we were onboarding 300 seniors across different counties. A local paper did a tiny feature. Helping seniors click with the world. That was the headline. I kept the clipping, folded in half, hidden in a drawer. Meanwhile, at home, nothing changed. My family still saw me as less. She's doing her little computer thing, my aunt said once during a birthday dinner, slicing a piece of cake without making eye contact. My cousin, who ran a tech startup, smirked. Teaching old folks to click buttons? Real noble work. I smiled, said nothing. But my hands curled around my napkin under the table. They still talked about my dropout like it was a scar on the family tree. Still introduced me as between things or just helping out locally. They didn't know I had helped a 92-year-old woman set up a Zoom call with her son in Tokyo. They didn't hear the joy in a veteran's voice when he video chatted with his granddaughter for the first time. They didn't watch the tears, the laughter, the life being rebuilt with Wi-Fi and patience. And yet I kept going, because something inside me had shifted. I wasn't chasing their approval anymore. I was building something no one could take from me. But still the part of me ached. Because the people I wanted to see me the most still looked right through me. It happened on a Tuesday. Cloudy. Unremarkable. The kind of day you forget unless something unforgettable happens. It was the day we gathered at the lawyer's office to hear my grandfather's will. The room was sterile, leather chairs, glass table, thick air. Everyone was dressed in variations of black and beige. I sat near the end, quiet, barely acknowledged. Grandpa had passed 2 weeks before. My heart still felt raw. He was the only one who really saw me. The only one who never flinched when I fell. The lawyer, a soft-spoken man with square glasses, shuffled through a stack of folders. He started reading. The usual, charitable donations, funeral arrangements, property to my uncle, stocks to my mother. Then he paused. "There's a letter addressed to Elena James," he said, looking directly at me for the first time. The room stiffened. My uncle cleared his throat. My cousin raised an eyebrow. I opened the envelope with trembling hands. Inside was a handwritten note, shaky and familiar. "Elena, if you're reading this, then I'm gone. But I want you to know your quiet work changed lives." I saw it. I watched the videos. I read the emails from people you helped. I knew what you were building, even when they didn't. That's why I've made a change in the will. The lawyer continued, confirming what the letter hinted at. My grandfather had left me his home, not because I was the eldest, not out of pity, because he believed in my vision. Gasps. Whispers. My aunt's lips parted as if to object, but no words came. Then someone spoke behind me. A man's voice. "Wait, you're Elena James?" I turned. A stranger. Maybe mid-30s, kind face, nerves in his voice. "My fiancé's grandmother talked about you. Said you helped her reconnect with her family. She wouldn't stop talking about the girl at the library who changed her life." He looked stunned. "I didn't know it was you." The room shifted. Eyes widened. Silence thickened. "She passed away last month," he continued, softer now. "But before she did, she said something I'll never forget. Tell that girl she gave me back the world." I felt something deep inside me loosen. Not pride. Not triumph. Just release. The lawyer adjusted his glasses. "There's also a grant," he added, "that Mr. James set aside for community technology education. To be directed by Elena." There was no applause. No dramatic music. Just stillness. And the sound of everything quietly changing. I looked at my mother. She had tears in her eyes, but not the sad kind. For the first time in years, she looked at me with something new, recognition. And I realized I never had to raise my voice. I never had to prove myself with resumes or titles or awards, because the truth walked in by itself and refused to stay quiet. Life didn't change overnight. No confetti. No grand gestures. But small things began to shift. A week after the will reading, I found a card on my desk at the library. No name. Just my mother's handwriting. "I'm proud of you. I'm sorry it took me this long to say it." I didn't cry. I didn't even smile. I just folded the card gently and placed it inside the front cover of my grandfather's favorite book, The Old Man and the Sea. He once told me it was about quiet battles. The kind no one sees but matter more than the loud ones. My brother texted me out of the blue.
Hey,
Can you help Grandma set up email? I said yes. Of course I did. We didn't talk about the past. We just sat together, side by side, clicking through instructions. And that silence felt different this time. Like peace, not distance. I began working on the grant Grandpa left behind. Started designing a regional program, one that could expand to libraries, retirement homes, maybe even prisons. But this time, I wasn't chasing redemption. I wasn't building to prove anything. I was simply doing what I was made to do. And when people asked why I kept at it, I just said, it wasn't pride. It was peace. If you've ever felt like the background character in your own life, like the quiet one at the table, the one no one updates or asks about, this story was for you. You don't have to be loud to be powerful. You don't need applause to be meaningful. Sometimes, the greatest impact lives in whispered moments, in patient acts, in things the world forgets to spotlight. And if you're building something small right now, something only you understand,
keep going.
because the right eyes will find you, the right hearts will feel you. And the truth? It always rises, even in silence. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me your story, because someone out there needs to hear it, and maybe it's you. Thank you for being here. And I promise more stories are coming. Real ones. Quiet ones. Yours.